I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's a filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. Go, ladies and gentlemen, Testament.
Let's go.
Kings will pay with your life on the line. So lose your head if you keep on trying. Oh, I don't mind doing the time. I'm happier being alive. Now I know it means to my oppression. We're all lies. The only trick is your own most sacred lesson I'd ever learn. Oh, I know.
Well,
was
a ballad.
Testament's attempt at a ballad called The Ballad.
I mean, definitely the beginning sounded like a ballad. What do you think I should?
Yeah.
I think it looks like it's tossing down on us here.
Yeah, that's a little further out.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job of the song. I definitely understand the record label and their desire to want them to replicate Metallica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've got the template where like
moneymaker.
You start slow and clean, and then you progressively build up. Mm-hmm. Like One or Fade to Black. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that template, and it's like you could tell that these guys are talented musicians in their own right, but this whole thing seemed to be external, like this came from outside, whereas Metallica were genuinely doing it. And so, like, I'm sure this band gets compared to Metallica a lot. Like, I know for a fact, because I said something about, like, the first Testament song we ever heard. I was like, yo, these dudes, like, copied off Metallica. And, of course, Testament fans, which, much respect to them, but, of course, we don't know anything. We're just experiencing this shit for the first time in real time, dear listener. So, like, Testament fans were like, what are you talking about? We're completely different from Metallica. They were around, like, at the same time. So it's, like, highly unlikely.
Yeah, okay.
It's highly unlikely. You know, it's like we said about comedians. Like, we're going to tell the same jokes. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But, you know, like, the intricacies, I'm sure there's differences between the bands. But anyway, Metallica did some pretty groundbreaking stuff with Fade to Black and all that in the thrash metal world. And, of course, the other record labels are going to... So you're in this weird situation where you kind of already sound like Metallica just because you guys kind of came up in the same era in the same location, apparently. Mm-hmm. But you know you're your own thing and you know you're better, you know, for all the Testament. Well, I will say that their lead guitarist seems to have a little bit more range than Kurt. A little bit more range. But how can I know it's only one song? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it makes you wonder, like, if you're the band, let's say you're Testament, and the record label wants you to kind of like mini bite off Metallica, when, let's say your song makes it big, do you feel like happy and accomplished, or do you feel like you're riding on somebody else's coattails and you weren't able to really get your stuff out there?
Well, if I was them, I would be annoyed because I'd be like, we could have got here without this nonsense. Like, this was like a cheap thing, and now we're like always going to be connected to them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure as a band, and now I look at it, now I realize why the fans were so... At the time,
I don't know why.
At the time, I thought it was the fans were mega defensive because I've never seen a group of people. Because there's been a bunch of times like, oh, that's a Tool influence and things like that. But vocally, this song right here, the thing that got me was that the person, in my opinion, that has the best cadence or voice for the verse, not the chorus, the verse, is dude from Alice in Chains, Lane Staley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Every time, obviously his choruses are like out of this world. But even during the verses, just because of the way that he does his voice, how signature, like it's like this, unfortunately, ghostly type of voice, you know, and the way they do the echo effect, whatever, it's just beautiful. But I've never listened to an Alice in Chains song and been like, yeah, I'm like hanging out in the verse to get to the chorus. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like the more...
You haven't done that, you're saying?
No, not with Alice in Chains.
Oh,
like,
I thought you said that was his, like, go-to. I thought you were saying you
liked the chorus. Usually what happens is, like, you tolerate the verse to get to the chorus.
Oh, you're just saying the whole
thing.
What I'm saying is, okay.
That dude from Alice in Chains, to me, is the greatest of all time. It's like...
Start to finish, he keeps it.
Yeah, the verse... Because it's... The verse kind of, like... attracts you and mesmerizes you, and then the chorus like blows you away. You see what I'm saying? This guy in the vocally, unfortunately, I was comparing him to Hetfield, and I was like, okay, James Hetfield does not have that gear. Like what this dude did in the verses, he sounded like dude from Alice in Chains. And I know that he's got other like vocal personas that he could do. So yeah. I'm like, the guitarist is a little bit more advanced than Kirk. A little bit.
Okay.
And the vocalist has a little bit more range as far as what he can do than Kurt, in my opinion. But the song, if I compare it to one, like one blows it out of the water. But that's because Metallica wanted to do that. Whereas the record label wanted them to do this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a different feel to it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wondered, but then I wasn't sure if the band maybe looks at it as like, oh, that's fine. We have a stepping stone. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I stepped on that, and now I can now put my other music out there, and people are gonna like it. But the way that people react to like bands and wanting them to stay exactly the same way, I don't know if you have a different style. If you put this one out and it goes big, can you go back to your original style, or the band? You know, are people gonna be like, yeah, they have that one hit wonder? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Testament, like I said, we're pretty ignorant about of metal, but from what I can gather, Testament is a legendary band in their own right. They eventually carved out their own. You know what I'm saying? But like part of me feels like, okay, so how much of this song was about the record label itself? You know what I'm saying? Because we have to do this freaking song that we genuinely don't want to do.
Oh, do you think it was almost like an underlying
like the games are played with your life on the line. Some lose, you win if you keep on trying. I don't mind doing the time. I'm happier being alive. I know the names of my oppression were all lies. See what I'm saying? And then he says, you know, I've been robbed. I've been fooled. I intend to make my own rules. See what I'm saying? So that might be like them saying like, we're doing this thing. And then after this, we're never doing this again. And I think actually one of the Testament...
You've only begun to live your life for you.
Yeah, like one of the Testament historians actually said, like, after this...
They did their own thing?
They did their own thing.
Oh, interesting. So, I definitely thought it was a relationship song.
Yeah. Well, oh, yeah. Yeah. Lord of Arcadia says, I agree. Definitely outside influence, because Testament has since then never compromised with their sound. Although it's not a bad song at all. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So what did you think about the ballad part at the beginning? Like, I know you're saying it didn't feel like completely natural or like completely coming from them, but it was pretty, right?
No, I think the wheels fell off toward the bottom third of the, you know, that's where it just completely just, it was like, it started off good. It's like, oh, I know this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And then it was like, and then you started to see bars around windows and shit. Oh, no. Like, I'm in a different neighborhood.
A different part of town.
We're in a different fucking neighborhood here, boy. And then there's just a lot of blue lights after. The song just like descended. But I don't blame the band for that, so I'm not going to penalize them because that was the record label's
Yeah, but
fault.
maybe they did that on purpose. Like, because at the end they said, you've only just begun to live your life for you. Like, maybe it was kind of like, we're doing our different thing over here. And you're not going to like it, but you're going to have to accept it because it's the ballad.
Yeah, you know, Freak on a Leash was about the record industry. Like, it just seems like all these Ticks and Leeches on the Lateralis record. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like when you cross that line into legendary status, it almost seems like they all have to face that sort of enemy in the mirror. It's kind of like a Jungian, like embracing your shadow, like we had to do this to get here type of thing. But now that we're here and we have the power, we can say, fuck you for making us do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very interesting way of fighting back. And it's very interesting to me how often that happens and how little that happens in rap. Which it's interesting because those like recording disputes and shit spill out into the streets. People get shot over it. People fight over it on the radio. They'll call in when each other is there. They'll show up with guns, but they won't like talk about it on like the, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Whereas in metal, they talk about it. They just ventilate that frustration in the song. But it'd be ridiculous to imagine Maynard going up to a record label with a bunch of guns. That's what I'm saying. We're under a curse. Don't make no sense. Anyway, I really, really like this song. You know, it's tied to Metallica. But I think these guys were doing this song with one hand tied behind their back.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go ahead and say this is a solid 9.2 for me. They did a really, really good job, I think.
I think you're right. I think they probably did have a hand tied behind their back. I liked the beginning. I even liked the transition to like that sort of like, it's getting serious now. And then there was some thrash kind of sound in there. I think I'm going to go with a 9.3.
Yeah, and just as a postscript, in 1992, Testament did do more of a them ballad entitled Return to Serenity, which was on the Ritual album, 1994, Low had Trail of Tears ballad. So these guys, I'm sure they can do ballad if and when they want. And I think that was the point of the song. Like, if and when they want, I'm sure they can knock it out of the park. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot more original. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there'll be overlap, but I'm sure it'll be a Testament version of whatever a ballad is. Which, you know, hopefully, I'm going to put that in my parking lot, and hopefully somebody will
I know. Request that one.
ask
We
for
can
that
hear
song.
it. Because we don't hear it unless you guys call for it.
All right. 9.2 for me. What did you give
I
me?
give it a 9.3.
All right. Song number 2 on the way, dear listener. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Down.